Hello out there. We're on the air. Happy frickin' Tuesday, everybody. It's good to see you. Looks like we got a lively chat to start the show today. So that's always nice. We got a lively chat. We got some Kip Moore playing in the background, and we got a little bit of sunshine even today. Shout out to everybody in the USA who experienced their first snowfall last week. It's pretty funny. I mean, I'm sure they would say the same if we had like a tornado or a hurricane here or something. It's just that's a normal Monday here. Couple feet of snow. That's just a normal Monday. But the difference, I guess, is that we're prepared for it. We got the infrastructure in place for it. So shout out to all the American friends out there who hopefully survived the storm, the big storm. Today's show is titled, Where Will You Be When Bitcoin Hits $1 Million? And I think it's a pretty good title. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased. I made the title. But I think it's a good indication of kind of where we are. And we're going to have a really good discussion today on, see that? That was like a magic trick. We're going to have a good discussion today. We're going to be talking about precious metals a little bit, but we're going to be talking about, we spent this is lesson number 14 here. So lesson number 14 out of 88 total. And the last couple we spent talking about buying Bitcoin, the different strategies to buy Bitcoin, the recurring buys, the DCAs, the smash buys for all the people out there who have been using River and using their, what's it called? Supercharge buy. And then we talked about actually moving Bitcoin from the exchange onto your cold storage or your own wallet. So you have the key to your Bitcoin. That's kind of the superpower in Bitcoin, is being able to hold your own keys to it and not having to rely on or trust a third party. But today we're going to be talking about selling Bitcoin, because I think the point of this whole thing is not to see how much Bitcoin we can get. The point of this whole thing is to add as much value to the world and store that value in the best possible battery, which is Bitcoin. And then at some point in the future, when we actually need to use that money, we have it. We have access to it. We don't have to ask anybody's permission for it. Nobody has the ability to debase it. We can hop on an airplane and fly any part of the world with our Bitcoin in our head or in our book or geographically dispersed in different parts of the world. It is the superpower of Bitcoin. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And we're going to talk about silver and how it compares and a couple other things. So I was off yesterday. I took a trip into the city, and it was about, it was really cold. I think it was about minus 40, but it was really, really windy. And probably the scaredest I've been on the highway in a lot of years. And I'm pretty comfortable. I'm pretty familiar with driving on bad roads and winter roads. But yesterday was a whole nother level. So I'm glad to be alive. I'm glad to be here. And I had a couple of very scary moments. And anyways, I'm here. So we're going to, again, we had yesterday off. And so we're just kind of going to ease into this one today a little bit. I see a lot of people over on Rumble, which is awesome. And shout out to YouTube, Rumble, and Zapstream as well. So let me, I gotta make sure the Zapstream is working here. I'm on the wrong freaking, no, am I? We'll just give it a couple minutes here. We'll let the majority of people show up, those who are wanting to come today. We'll give a couple minutes and just let me get signed into this here. Let me sign into Nostr so I can see if we're live. I want to start with a couple different shout outs today. I saw number one. I see Sharon B in the chat. Sharon B sent a little zap to Lucky Boy this morning. So thank you, Sharon B, for that. 555 units of freedom. And it looks like the Nostr chat is working, I believe. I see Josh over there. I see Jake over there. And Josh says, Jordy, you might have to train old Jerry on how to keep his stream running. Well, I got a lot of practice. I remember when I first started on Zapstream, I've been doing it for probably close to 2 years now. I don't know. But it's not that straightforward. Once you have a bit of practice with it, of course, just like anything. But yeah, he's been struggling with it for sure. But it's good to see you, Josh. Josh zapped 8,888 units of freedom to start the show today. So thank you, Josh. And he said, Arnie barked twice for tons of liberals in them ditches this morning on my commute. Must be getting some more snow still in Ontario. So thank you, Josh, very much. Josh, probably the most, there's a couple people very supportive and consistent supporters of the show. One of those guys is named Praetorian. And at 3:22 this morning, he sent in 5,000 units of sovereignty. And he said, good morning, stay motivated, embrace the day. Kind regards, Praetorian. But something else happened this morning early on, and it was another 8,888 units of sovereignty. And the comment was in before Praetorian, mining the fiat overnight. And I don't know who that was. It was an anonymous zap. I have a couple ideas. I was going to guess Sats and Sunsets, but I don't know who it was. So whoever that was, show your face. And I would love to say thank you for that. So we'll get to a couple comments here as we kind of get started. The first 10 lessons or so, I was pretty rushed trying to start the show because I didn't want to waste people's time, but I'm kind of past that now. It's not that we're wasting time. I kind of want to get into it here. A little bit of a warm up, you know? There he is right there. And I also want to give a special shout out here to our guy, Praetorian, because one of the things I've been talking about for a very long time now is the fact that every single person who's a Bitcoiner, not somebody who holds Bitcoin, but somebody who is a Bitcoiner, you should be doing everything that you can to get the message out there to people. Not pushing Bitcoin on people, but pulling them into Bitcoin, showing them the problems with the fiat system, leading by example in terms of proof of work, energy-backed currency versus something that can be created out of thin air. And so I've really encouraged people to talk about it, to get on the internet, start a YouTube channel, start a blog, just start talking about it, start a community, just start talking to people about this, because there's a ton of information. And I know for a fact that people in this chat, the knowledge that you have inside of your head right now, you do not know how valuable that is. And you don't have to be perfect. When I started my YouTube channel, I was about 1/100th of the Bitcoiner that I am today. But because I talk about this stuff every day, I pay attention to it and I learn and I teach it, and I learn more by teaching it. And the best thing that we can do right now is we have the ability to spread this message as far as we can. We have the internet, we have all these different platforms, and we have the ability to do that. So one of the guys, Praetorian here, who's highlighted on the screen, he just started his own YouTube channel. And I was very impressed with this because, again, it doesn't have to, you don't have to start a YouTube channel and just sit here in front of your webcam like I do. You don't have to talk about the same things that I do. Every single person here is very unique. There's no one, unless you know something that I don't, but I don't think there's a clone of me out there. I'm one of one. And so the things that I talk about, the thoughts that pop into my brain that spill into the internet here, they're from me. I'm not competing against anybody. I'm just creating, and I'm trying to spread this message as far as I possibly can. And everybody has a unique perspective. And so what Praetorian's done here is, if you look at the his Foundry Forged Bitcoin, this is his new channel here. And it says, welcome to Foundry Forged Bitcoin, a place where Bitcoin meets iron and proof of work isn't theoretical, it's physical. We work in a foundry, melting metal, pouring iron, grinding, hammering, and shaping real things in the real world. So brand new channel here. I'm going to share this link here, but look at this. Like, they're just shorts, but awesome. Like I watched some of these this morning. I was like, damn, that's actually pretty cool. Things I've never seen before. And looks like some of those have actually done pretty well. You got 1,000 views on this one, 2,000 views on this one. And they're just ASMR of real work. So Praetorian in the foundry there, he's making some shorts, posting them, and who knows what'll come from that. Who knows? But it's one of those things. That's one thing that I've said for a long time is the concept of selling your sawdust, which means Praetorian's already at work. He's already there. He's already getting paid to be there. And so how hard is it to pull out your cell phone that everybody carries around in their pocket and just take some videos, take some pictures, add some context to it, and share it? You are a creator. You were born to create. And so big shout out here to FF Bitcoin, Foundry Forge Bitcoin, Praetorian. And I'm going to share his channel here. It looks like he just got another new subscriber there on the air. So I'm going to share this with YouTube. I'm going to share this with the other platforms there. And let me throw that in the Nostr chat. So make sure everybody goes over and subscribes to Praetorian. And it's one of those things, man. It's like we're all on Team Bitcoin here, right? And so that should always be the default in your head. To keep in mind that anybody who's talking positively about Bitcoin and spreading the message that we want to get out there to the world, they're on our team. And your default should be to support them. Subscribe to their channel. You don't have to do it financially right off the hop, but subscribe to their channel, like their videos, leave a little comment, default to support. And again, if Praetorian goes off the rails here and starts posting stupid things, then I'll just unsubscribe. But you should always default to support. When there's somebody out there talking positively about Bitcoin and trying to share this message around the world, always default to support. So there you go, Praetorian. Big shout out to our guy. And I wanted to do it on today because there's usually more of an audience on Tuesday. So big shout out to Praetorian. And there's one more here actually that I wanted to share because Kev also had a new channel that he just started sharing this week or last week, I think it was. So let me bring this up too, actually, while we're on the topic. So the channel is called 21 Sat Street. Love that name. And I had the pleasure of meeting Kevin in Vegas last year. So he is a real person. I can confirm that. But it's one of those things. It's a Bitcoin channel. 21 Sat Street here. So make sure you go over and subscribe to both Praetorian and to Kev. And again, default to support. Default to support. That should be a mission in Bitcoin. Okay, who else is here? We'll get to a couple comments here, and then we'll get into the show for today. We got a couple people. I'll just go through the first couple here. We got Jake. We got Ginger. We got Rich, Sketchucation. We got The Lord is my shepherd, shall not want. From Brooklyn. Good to see you, my friend. Scotty Boy's here. Is this the right place for a quiet revolution? It's exactly what it is. Howard says, hopefully not dead. We're not dead. We're just being born. We're being born into the golden age here. Most people just don't know it yet. Cannon's here. Sats and Sunsets and Sharon B. Get to Sharon B says, hello, is this the right place for excessive spreadsheets and endless amounts of note-taking? Yes. Lauren. Josh. Josh is here and on Rumble. Love to see that. And we got Nav. And we got Scotty. Okay, we're going to get to the lesson here without further ado. So let's bring this up here. Let's get into today's lesson. And kind of how we do these shows is we got the lesson first. We'll get into kind of an intro here first, then we'll do the lesson. And then we'll have some time after for some Q&A and some other discussion on what's going on around Bitcoin right now. So I won't be checking the chat for the lesson. I'm kind of try to be dialed in on it. But if you do have any questions, if you have any comments on what I'm talking about, or anything troubling you, any concerns, any ideas, any concepts you want to dive a little bit further into, just throw them in the chat, and we'll. I save some time after the lesson for the Q&A part. So with that, I read the title already. Where will you be when Bitcoin hits $1 million? And I think this is going to be a very interesting one for people today. A couple shout outs here. Number one, Gigi, one of the best Bitcoiners to ever live. Gigi. He wrote a book called 21 Lessons, A Journey Down the Rabbit Hole. Sorry, What I've Learned from Falling Down the Bitcoin Rabbit Hole. One of my favorite books here. And it's kind of a philosophical approach to Bitcoin and way to think about it, but I love that kind of stuff. So that's what inspired this course that I'm doing here, 88 lessons. A little bit more. 60, what would that be? 67 more lessons. But it's a different kind of thing. And maybe we'll turn this into a book one day, who knows? But anyways, big shout out to Gigi for writing that book and for inspiring this course here. Shout out to Michael Saylor, who said something along the lines of, people spend 100,000 hours of their life earning money. They should spend at least 100 hours learning how to keep it. And that's what we're doing here. That's why we talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the perfect store of value, the perfect battery. And I want to keep this course under 100 hours. So somebody could start on lesson 1, go all the way to 88, and have a very clear vision, a very clear understanding of what Bitcoin is and why it's so valuable. And so that's 100 hours or 88 lessons. And the third shout out here is to you, whoever you are, wherever you are watching the show right now. Big shout out to you, because it is not easy. It's not easy to be a Bitcoiner. It's really not. It's a very lonely place, for one. You have the majority of your friends, family, coworkers calling you a dipshit. And especially gold bugs these days calling you a dipshit. It's not easy. You spend about 99% of your life being called a dipshit and 1% of your life being right. People texting you saying, hey, Jor, how do I get some Bitcoin? But eventually, I think as time goes on here, there's going to be more people on that camp. We're going to be called dipshits less and less through time. But we're still in that awkward phase right now where the world hasn't figured this one out yet. You have. So shout out to you. There's a lot of benefit that come with being a Bitcoiner, both financially and many other aspects. But it's not easy. And it's not for the faint of heart. And there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it. So you are the person, unfortunately, whether you like it or not. Hopefully you love it, but whether you like it or not, you are the person in your family responsible for taking advantage of this time in history. If you do things right for the next year or two here, you are going to completely change the direction of your family, of your bloodline, for generations and generations and generations to come. It's on you, though. But you're doing it right. You're here. You're actually giving a shit about this stuff. So big shout out to you. New members. We had quite a few this week, actually. And I think it's because I've been putting the Bitcoin School episodes on YouTube for members. But we had Abodine Node joined. We had Adam 5370 joined. We had Camille 2872 joined. We had Ratik 2179 rejoin actually. He was an existing member, but he joined again, or she, but that's it. We had Paul 9419 join as a member, and we had Dana 2746 just joined yesterday. So the members of this channel, they do get every single episode, every single day. Every day in 2026, I'm doing a video talking about Bitcoin. They're about 10 or 15 minutes long. And you can either join the School Visionaries community, or you can join as a member on YouTube. And you're getting a video every single day talking about Bitcoin. So if you join today, you're going to get access to 27 videos talking about Bitcoin. Very important topics too. Not just like, why should we buy Bitcoin, but how to protect your Bitcoin, how to manage your private keys, how to think about your UTXOs, where you should be keeping your device, where you should be keeping your recovery phrase, where you should be keeping your passphrase, how you should be thinking about this stuff. And the course officially starts on March 15th, 2026. But if you're a member now, you're going to get 2.5 months worth of bonus content kind of leading up to the course. So big shout out to the new members of the course. We don't have any sponsors on the show, so the new members definitely help. definitely help keep the lights on here and keep me showing up every day. Like I said, we don't have any sponsors. Zero. We got no sponsors and therefore no filter. I believe that, especially in this industry, for the last 17 years, there's been a lot of slander, a lot of bad actors in this space. It's hard to find people that you can rely on. And so I just figured that if I got any sponsors, it'd be much easier for me. Like, think about it. A sponsor for a couple $1,000 a month, get a couple of those. That's it. Everything else is just kind of gravy on top of that. But I decided to take a little bit different route. I would say the harder route. And that way I don't have to care. I don't have to pay attention to what anybody else thinks about what I'm talking about here. I can speak whatever the hell is on my mind. And that's important to me. So it doesn't happen just by myself. There's a lot of people who show up here every day and support this channel. And so God bless the people who do. And if you do feel like supporting, you can either send in some sats to the QR code there on screen, or you can join as a member on the YouTube channel or the Visionaries community. But we're going to stay sponsor free as long as we possibly can here. The game plan today, we're going to go through the lesson. We're going to give a little update on the Q&A, the lightning list. We're going to do our weekly smash buy. We're going to give away some free Bitcoin, and then we're going to get to some Q&A. So again, if you have any questions or anything that that's on your mind, just throw it in the chat and we'll get to it after the lesson. And Citadel, Bitcoin Citadel, if you are somebody has a pretty significant investment or your Bitcoin balance starting to get up there and you're like, okay, well, starting to lose some sleep at night of how you're storing it, how you're protecting it. Maybe you want to get a cold card. Maybe you're looking into a multi-sig. Maybe you want something more than that. Check out bitcoincitadel.net. That is a company and an amazing group of people that I'm a part of. So we help with Bitcoin security, sovereignty, and privacy. That's kind of our deal there. So with that, let's bring this down for a second. Let me take a drink of my coffee. And let's get to the lesson. Okay, let me put this, let's just get started here. So let me find this. Sorry, Nostr. It says there's 0 people on Nostr, but I don't think that that's true because I see some people in the chat there. I don't think it's updating here. There we go. Okay, we got Josh. It's still saying 0 viewers, but I know that that's wrong. But Scotty's over there. Josh is over there. And Josh says that's a Letha type move. Yeah, it could have been, but it was at like 12:30 in the morning. And they said that they were working the night shift. So yeah, I kind of would have defaulted to Letha as well, but the timing and the message of it didn't really line up for me. So I'm sure hopefully we'll find out by the end of the episode who the mysterious zapper was, but we'll continue on without. Okay. Lesson number 14, titled, Where Will You Be When Bitcoin Hits $1 million? And we're going to be talking about silver being a trap right now. Because for the last couple of months, we've seen the price of silver and gold, precious metals, just going absolutely bananas. And as a Bitcoiner, it's kind of hard to see. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to pretend it isn't. But at the same time, the reason why I titled the show today, Where Will You Be When Bitcoin Hits $1 million? Is because as good as that sounds in our head, $1 million Bitcoin, it should actually scare the shit out of you. And kind of my theory around Bitcoin is that when Bitcoin does hit $1 million, when it does, not if it does, but when it does, that's really where things start. Because we're going to move from seeing the price of Bitcoin on the tickers on CNBC and on our CoinGecko apps. It's going to be 800,000, then 900,000, then it's going to hit $1 million. And when it hits $1 million, I think that's when we're actually going to shift units. So one of the biggest things holding people back from getting into Bitcoin right now is that they think that Bitcoin's too expensive. That's why they lean towards shit coins, scam coins like XRP, Caspa, Ethereum. They're just nonsense. They don't really have any sort of real value. They're just being sold to people, and people fall for it because they can see that they can buy them for much lower prices. But when we hit $1 million, that's when things are going to get crazy in Bitcoin, because that's when people are going to get interested in Bitcoin, because we're going to go from pricing it in Bitcoin to pricing it in Satoshis. Because when Bitcoin hits 1 million, that means that one sat is equal to 1 cent. So we're going to switch from pricing it in Bitcoin and we're going to start pricing it in sats. We're just not there yet. It wouldn't make any sense for us to say 1 sat equals 0.001 cents. It just doesn't make sense in our own heads. But when it hits $1 million, that's when it's going to be 1 sat equals 1 cent. And the crazy thing about that sounds kind of cool. But the crazy thing about that is when Bitcoin moves from 1 cent for 1 sat to 2 cents for 1 sat. Bitcoin just moved from $1 million Bitcoin to $2 million Bitcoin behind the scenes. And when it's 3 cents for 1 sat, that means that Bitcoin has moved to $3 million for 1 Bitcoin. So we none of us even understand the magnitude of scale of what's happening here and what's going to happen. So gold and silver have been ripping. I think this time last year, silver was like $25 for an ounce of silver. And yesterday, it went up $10 in one day. And it's kind of the canary in the coal mine right now. It's a indicator, it's a signal that the fiat system is in full collapse. And I don't know what's going to happen. They've been able to manipulate the price of silver and gold for many, many years now. And so I don't know what comes next. I do know that Bitcoin eventually will have its day. And when Bitcoin hits $1 million, and that's the question here, isn't where will you be physically? Like what part of the world will you be in when it happens? I'm sure you'll remember it, but that's not what I'm asking here. When that happens, are you going to be satisfied with your stack? Because if you think about it this way, if you make $5,000 per year, not in like gross salary, but if you have like $5,000 extra at the end of the year, which I think would be very high for the average person, right now that gets you 5 million sats. That gets you 5 million sats closer to your goal in Bitcoin. Bitcoin at 1 million, that would be what? $5,000 would probably get 50,000 sats. 50,000, I think it is. But anyways, nobody's going to be ready for that. Nobody's going to be ready for that, because the fiat that you have today that you exchange for your Bitcoin and sats, you're going to get a whole hell of a lot less than you do today. So it's fun to see silver and gold ripping. And I think the main reason for that, honestly, is because the world is very familiar with silver and gold. Everybody knows what silver and gold is. Everybody knows what they do. They've been around for thousands of years now, and they have a very proven track record as a good store of value. But unfortunately, they don't pass the test for medium of exchange. Gold has already failed. Silver failed. They also require trust. They require a centralized party to issue that or to hold it for you. And they're not a very good unit of account either. So I think when you're looking at, let me just put this down here because I got a couple different things here. But when you're looking at what makes a good money, you want it to be a good store of value, which I would say that silver and gold both have been a pretty good store of value. Gold probably much better. Silver stayed at like $20 an ounce for 50 years. I wouldn't consider that a very good store of value. But it's ripping now. And it's hard money. It's hard money, which means it's hard to obtain. It takes real world energy to pull silver out of the ground. It's hard money. So it is a good store of value. But is it a good medium of exchange? No. Number one, because you pretty much have to use it locally if you wanted to use it. You can't really just shave a silver coin if you want to pay for something at the store. It's not a good medium of exchange. And it's definitely not a good unit of account either, because for something to be a unit of account, you have to know how many units there are. I would love to hear somebody tell me exactly how many ounces of gold there are and how many ounces of silver there are. Not only just above ground, but also in the mountains, under the ocean, in space. So they are both good stores of value. Like I'm not debating that, but they are not good mediums of exchange and they're not good units of account. Bitcoin is the best version of all three of these. And so gold and silver are kind of having their day today, and they're happy about it. And I don't blame them. They've waited a very long time for this to happen. But Bitcoin's far superior. And Bitcoin, when it starts to run here and when the world catches on to how valuable Bitcoin is and how unique and different it is from these other assets, we're off to the races, and it's game over at that point, because whatever you're stacking right now, you're going to get a 1/100th of that at that time. When the world figures this out, your stacking days are over. And I'm going to put that because that's a pretty important point to understand here. When the world figures this out, Bitcoin, you're done. You're going to look at your balance. Maybe you have, I don't know, 43 million sats. You look at your wallet right now. That's what it says. When Bitcoin really starts running and we go to, again, 1 sat equals 1 cent, and then 1 sat equals 2 cents, 1 sat equals 3 cents, you're going to look at your balance, and that's pretty much the peak. You're not going to be able to convert a meaningful amount of fiat into a meaningful amount of Bitcoin anymore. It's over. You're done. So when that happens, you're going to look at your wallet and you're going to see your balance, and that's pretty much all you're going to ever have of it. And so that's why it's so important to not get distracted by what's going on in these other markets, not getting jealous, not trying to chase and trade in and out of things. You just hold, and you should be focusing your time and energy on growing your conviction in Bitcoin and learning how to protect it. So where will you be? Where will you be in terms of when you look at your wallet that day, when we hit $1 million, that's pretty much what you're going to end up with forever. And it'll probably just go down because you're going to spend some of your Bitcoin. You're going to potentially lose some of your Bitcoin. So when that happens, you're pretty much going to peak in Bitcoin. So are you ready for that? I'm not. And that's why I titled the show today, Silver is a Trap. And I was listening to, in the shower today, I usually throw in some music before the shows. And randomly, I don't know what I was listening to or how the song came on, but it was a song from Alanis Morissette. Have you ever heard of Alanis Morissette? And the song is titled Ironic. And there's a line in there that said, it's like 10,000 spoons when all you need is a knife. And I was like, that's exactly what silver is. And I'm going to show you an example of the one of the biggest downfalls of silver is its ability to sell it. So for the first 13 lessons here, a big part of it is like how to buy Bitcoin, how to convert your dollars into sats. And again, the proper ways to do it, the DCA, the recurring buy, the supercharged buy from River, how to buy, what to think about when you're sending it from your exchange to your cold storage wallet, how to do that. But today we're going to be talking about when you actually want to use your Bitcoin. Because again, I kind of mentioned this at the start of the show, but I think it's worth repeating. The goal here is not to try to see how much Bitcoin we can get. That's not the goal. The goal here is to add as much value to the world as we possibly can, become as valuable as we can, and share that with the world, share our skills, share our knowledge, share our talents with the world, and add value. And when the world gives us value back, we want a good place to store it. We want a good battery to store that. And that is Bitcoin. And so when you think about it that way, with 10,000 spoons and all you need is a knife, people are chasing everything. They're chasing ounces of silver. They're chasing gold. They're chasing stocks, the next meme coin. But all you need is one. All you need is one asset. All you need is a knife. And the knife in this case is Bitcoin. So hopefully this doesn't get in any sort of trouble for promoting violence. YouTube, I'm not promoting violence. It's just a lyric from Alanis Morissette. Great Canadian, by the way. So when you think about it that way, you want a place to store your value. And that's exactly what Bitcoin is. So in the future, you want to be able to utilize that value. That's the purpose of it. You get value, you store it in Bitcoin, and then at some point in the future, you want to use that value for something. And some people might sell their Bitcoin to buy their things, to buy things that they want. Some people might lend against their Bitcoin and use the proceeds from the loan to go out and buy things that they've wanted. But that's the purpose of this. We want something. We want something to store our value. That's the key here. And so that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about a medium of exchange. We're talking about the perfect store of value, and we're talking about the unit of account and why Bitcoin is far superior to silver, gold, real estate, stocks, everything out there. It's the superior version of all three of those things, which make it pretty close to perfect to me. So let's start with, I got a couple different things here. So when we're looking at Bitcoin and silver directly, comparing them one to one, and I should kind of mention this too, because this is an important part of the story for me. Because when I was working as a CPA, I was pretty entrenched in the fiat system. I really was. And I would get paid every 2 weeks. And whatever I had at the end of the day, I would just go out and buy stupid shit with. I would eat out every single day. I never saw a reason to save money. I had my pension from work and I had a rental house, and those were kind of my retirements that I wanted. So whenever I had extra money kicking around in my bank account, I just did something. I bought something. I would go for a night of drinks. I would go every day. Like I said, I'd go out and eat lunch. I would go buy a new wedge, a new set of golf clubs. I would take a trip into the city or whatever it is. I would find a way to spend whatever I had because I didn't see a reason to store it. It just didn't make sense to me that I should be storing this. It was just like I was very entrenched in the fiat system. And then of course 2020 happened. And 2020 really opened my eyes to what's really going on in the world. Before then, I was completely blind. You know that meme with Sandra Bullock? I think it was called Birdman or Bird something. That was me going through life. That version of me is obviously gone now. But at the time when I first started sniffing around and realizing what's really going on in the world here, I was very, very depressed, very black-pilled. And that's why I don't pay too much attention to like the Simon Dixons of the world. I mean, I like what he's doing, but it's just too much. The Whitney Webbs, there's a girl named Lola on Noster. It's just too much doom and gloom, man. And that's really what silver and gold holders live. They live in a world full of gloom and doom because they think that we have to run into a Mad Max scenario and the financial system has to collapse and we have to go into apocalyptic times with no power, no food for their investment to be worth anything. And that's no way to live, in my opinion. It's no way to live. And so I was very black-pilled. I was very depressed. I had no hope at all for the future. I saw what was going on. I didn't see any way out of it. And so the only thing that I had to do at that point was start stacking silver. And I bought a lot of silver. I pretty much every time I had any sort of money, I cashed out some of my pension, put it into silver. I sold my real estate, bought a lot of Bitcoin, but also, it might have been before that actually. But anyways, I was stacking silver because that's the only thing that made sense to me at the time. It was the only thing that essentially the bankers couldn't print. And so I went down the road of precious metals. I saw the use case for it. I knew that they're hard money. I knew the difference between fiat money and hard money. I knew that nobody had the ability to print silver. And so I just started buying as much silver as I possibly could. And then eventually, once I took my turn in crypto, led me to Bitcoin, I traded the majority of my silver in for Bitcoin because once you see it, once you see what Bitcoin is, you never go back to that old world. And silver doesn't make any sort of sense. Once you see the real value of Bitcoin, once you have an understanding, once your green light turns on, you just don't see any sort of value in silver. And that's kind of what I went through. So I'm going to talk about 4 or 5 different things here that make Bitcoin a far superior place to park your capital. And I'm guessing most people who are watching the show today are kind of the capital allocators of their family. It could be the husband. It could be the wife. Could be the boyfriend, the girlfriend. But I'm guessing whoever's watching the show today is the one who manages the finances of the family wealth manager, the capital allocator. And so again, it's one of those things where you're looking at what you currently have, your current investments. Maybe you have some in a rental house. Maybe you have some in an index fund, pension fund, GIC. Maybe you have some gold and silver. But you're the one who gets to allocate that and decide which option here is going to provide the most for our family. And you should never be chasing, and especially if you're a Bitcoiner, you never want to be chasing gold, silver, stocks, meme coins, shit like that. You understand Bitcoin. You can't unsee everything that is going on in the other system. And Bitcoin is the only thing that's fully detached from that system. So think about that. Silver and gold right now are kind of like canaries in the coal mine. They're signals saying the fiat system is on the verge of collapse here. In my opinion, it's already dead, but that's a whole nother story. But anyways, they're the indicators. They're the signal here that something is wrong in fiat. But silver and gold are still very much attached to that old system in a lot of ways. And silver and gold are much different in the sense that if there's more demand for them, if more and more people want to hold silver and gold, we can go out and find more. There's hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of tons of silver and gold underneath the earth, underneath the oceans, that if these assets get high enough, there's going to be people bringing those out of the ground. So both these assets, eventually the demand will be met by the supply, which will flatline the price of it. We're never going to run out. If anybody tells you whether it's gold, silver, oil, rare earth minerals, we're never going to run out of this shit. Not for thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. The earth produces this stuff. It produces oil. There's tons of these deposits underground waiting to be dug up. The reason why they're not being dug up is because there's just simply not enough demand for them right now. And that should tell you everything that you need to know about precious metals versus Bitcoin. But we're going to get into a few more here. So number one here, I'm going to kind of take this one at a time here. But the first one is portability. So again, going back to kind of the Alanis Morissette up here, if you think about Bitcoin as a weapon, if you think about it like a weapon, and why is it a weapon? Because you want something that makes you very free. You want to be very flexible, very agile. You don't want to have to trust people. You want to be able to sell it whenever you want to be able to sell it. It's a weapon to you. It's much more than just an investment. And whether you are storing it in silver, gold, Bitcoin, those are weapons. You want to maximize your sovereignty, maximize your freedom, maximize your agility. And so these are weapons. And so if you think about it this way, if you were storing $1 million worth of silver in your basement, not paying anybody to store it, not paying any storage costs, you're not paying any property taxes on that silver. But if something happened and you needed to leave the country, could you hop on an airplane and take that $1 million worth of silver with you? What if you tried to sell it? And actually that's what I'm going to show here at one point here is what if you tried to sell it before you leave? What would you do with the cash? Where would you put the money? How would you access it when you hop on an airplane, land in a different country? How would you access that? So Bitcoin's very portable. Silver is not portable at all. You can move $1 million worth of Bitcoin in 10 seconds. You can hop on an airplane with it, fly to a different country, land, and you have your wealth with you. Again, you carry it in your head, or you carry it in a book, or you carry it on a QR code that's encrypted, or you have various locations around the world that can unlock your private key. But Bitcoin allows you to do that. Bitcoin is the knife here. Next one here. Bitcoin's built for the internet economy. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but technology is kind of catching on here. The internet's spread around the world now. There's not too many people on this earth without a smartphone in their hand, even people without a house or a vehicle or a food, a meal in their stomach, food. But everybody has a smartphone, and it's not going to slow down with AI and technology and working from home and Zoom and everything. It's going to ramp up. So Bitcoin is built for the internet economy. It's programmable. It's borderless. It settles instantly. And it says silver here is stuck in the 20th century, which it is. It's stuck in this 20th century. And silver people might argue that, hey, we're going to tokenize this. So it'll be programmable. It'll be borderless. Well, it might be borderless. It might not. It depends who's issuing those tokens. Probably be instant settlement. But number one, it hasn't been built yet. I guess Tether has. Does Tether have silver? Anyways, what I'm going to talk about next year will explain why tokenized gold and silver will fail compared to Bitcoin. Actually, maybe it's a little bit down the list here, but this next one's here is liquidity. Liquidity equals freedom. And again, if you're thinking about this stuff like a weapon, you want to have as much freedom as you can, because with liquidity, with the ability to move it, to sell it, a global liquidity, global demand for this asset, you can sell Bitcoin anytime, 365 days a year, anywhere. Silver buyers, good luck finding them at their fair value. So let me bring this up for a second, because this is a very interesting story, and this is kind of what inspired the whole show today, actually. And it was a guy named Stoic Trader. I'm thinking some of you may have seen this floating around this week, but it just goes to show the use case of Bitcoin compared to silver. So Stoic Trader on Twitter, he said, I'm sitting on 1,000 ounces of silver bars, which I believe is about the equivalent of 1 Bitcoin now. Bought physical, which is the way to do it. You don't want to be holding paper silver, because that's just 5 other people are holding that same silver that you are. Did what everyone says to do. Real assets outside the system. When everything collapses, you'll be glad that you had it. But here's the problem. Tried to sell some of it last week. Trying to sell it today. Refineries won't touch it. Dealers lowballing 30% under spot. Banks looking at me like I'm selling contraband. Turns out owning something and be able to exit something are 2 completely different skills. So think about that one. It turns out owning something and being able to exit something are 2 very different skills. This is the same trap I see in trading. People hold positions they can't exit, stocks with no volume, options with no buyers, meme coins, other tokens with no volume. Sitting on value that only exists on paper. Supply and demand, lesson learned. And look at that, 1.6 million people saw this tweet. I don't know if that's a lesson in supply and demand. I think I guess it is, because I was going to say it's a lesson in liquidity. But I guess, yeah, if there's nobody who actually wants to buy it, even regardless of what the price says, it's a little bit different. So let me go to the follow-up of this, because the day after he came out with a new tweet kind of as a follow-up to this. And it is right here. So this is a quote of his own tweet here. It says, I've been thinking about this all week. The silver is still sitting there. Called 3 more dealers today, same story. And it hit me. I don't own the silver owns me. Everyone says, hold what you can touch, right? That I would guess that between the unit bias of Bitcoin, meaning that people think that it's too expensive, and the fact that you can't physically touch it, those are probably the 2 biggest barriers of people taking time to learn about Bitcoin. And so this just goes to show that just because you can touch something doesn't mean it has any sort of value to you. And in the case of Bitcoin, just because you can't touch it doesn't mean that it doesn't have infinite amount of value for you, and freedom and flexibility and agility and sovereignty. But what's the point of touching something you can't move? The future isn't physical. The future is liquid. This guy wrote the script for me on this show today. The future is liquid. Took 1,000 ounces of silver to learn that. And that's a quote from his original tweet there. So going to this, liquidity equals freedom. What kind of tool do you want? Do you want 10,000 spoons? Or do you want one knife in this fight? So liquidity equals freedom. It actually makes a huge difference. And this is just not just for you, like as somebody who's holding Bitcoin, but this is going to make a massive difference in the future when banks are lending against Bitcoin, right? Because when you think about it this way, and this is just kind of going to take it one step further here. So let's say, and this is kind of most Bitcoiners right now, let's say that you want to take a loan against your Bitcoin so you don't have to sell it, which is my plan for the future. Once we have more of an infrastructure built, once the rates come down a little bit, so you don't have to sell it. So from your perspective, it's great. You have this asset that's going up forever because there's a absolutely fixed supply of it. You can hold the keys to it. Nobody can take it from you. You can go wherever you want to in the world. These are great attributes for an asset. But think about it this way, from the bank's perspective, right? Because when you go to get a loan, from the bank's perspective, they want to see what are the odds of them being repaid on this loan? What are the odds of this guy defaulting on the loan? What are the odds of this guy losing his job and having no income to pay this loan? Right? And so traditional collateral, real estate, land, equipment. Do people use silver? I don't know. That's another thing too that's not covered in the show today, but good luck taking your 1,000 bars of silver down to the bank and getting a loan against that. Would they do it? I don't know. Doubt it. But the point here, these are the traditional collateral. So not only does the bank have to verify the value of these, the real estate, the land, the equipment, they have to verify that you own it. They have to verify the value of it. They have to verify every year that you still own it and it's still the same value or up or down. But there's so many factors that contribute to this. Like think about, let's say that you had a Airbnb in Minnesota right now, and there's a riot going on there. Do you think that the value of your rental house in a downtown neighborhood in Minnesota would be equal to today as it was 10 years ago? Highly doubt it. So the collateral, the value of your collateral is going down instead of up like you expected to in real estate. But the bank has to verify that. That's the whole issue here. Plus, the other thing here is when you actually, let's say that you lost your job and you owe the bank $100,000. And the bank's like, well, we have this, he put up his chunk of land in BF nowhere. So we got the chunk of land as collateral here. But the problem is the bank now has to sell that land for me to pay off my loan. They have to find a buyer for that land to pay off my loan. And in the middle of nowhere, in BF nowhere here, it might be hard to find a buyer for that land or that rental property. And so they have to sit on it. They have to find a realtor. They have to find lawyers to get involved. They have to find a buyer for that asset that you put up as collateral. And on the flip side of that, if you're holding Bitcoin and that's your collateral, not only can the bank verify that you have ownership of it in seconds, they can verify the value of it in seconds. They don't have to worry about external factors like riots and government changes or anything like this. They can verify it in seconds. And they don't have to worry about people making more houses. Nobody can make more Bitcoin. But the key here is that let's say that you did start missing your loan payments. What would the bank do? Do they have to go out and find a realtor for it? Do they have to find a local buyer in your market to buy your asset? No. They don't even have to sell the whole thing. They might just be able to sell some of your Bitcoin for a couple months, pay off your loan payments, and then you find a job and you're back on your feet. You didn't lose your house. You didn't lose your land. You didn't lose all your Bitcoin. But that's what happens when you have an asset with global demand and global liquidity. So both of these things here, liquidity equals freedom. And if we go back to that post, the future is liquid. And there's nothing more liquid than Bitcoin. There's just not. You might say, well, the US dollar is more liquid. Maybe, but there's not a country on this planet that isn't going to want Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, let me put this, because this is a key here. Bitcoin is a solution to a problem that all 8 billion people have, which means it's global demand for it, which means that if you want to sell your Bitcoin, like it says here, anytime, anywhere, to anyone, global demand, global liquidity. Liquidity equals freedom, and the future is liquid. That's the main takeaway from the show today. But we're not done yet. Scarcity that you can verify. 21 million hard cap versus unknown silver reserves. Math beats hope. So if we go to, let's put this up here, because this is a number that we all love and that I've finally memorized here. Hopefully, I shouldn't get too cocky. So that's the total amount of Bitcoin that will ever exist. 2 quadrillion, 99 trillion, 999 billion, 997 million, 690,000 Satoshis. Those are the units that make up this network. And nobody has the ability to print those. Nobody has the ability to debase those. Nobody has the ability to make more of those if there's a lot of people that want to buy those. They're stuck in time. You cannot shortcut Bitcoin. You cannot go into the future like you can with fiat and print more and steal from the future. Bitcoin is stuck in time. And there's only this many units that will ever exist, which means when we go back to our store of value here, medium of exchange, and unit of account, what would make a better unit of account? If you're trying to measure something with a fixed supply where we know the denominator here, which is 2.1 quadrillion, or would a better unit of account be approximately 500,633 tons of gold, approximately, above the ground? We don't know. We don't know how much gold is out there. We have no idea. We have estimates that people make, guesses, but we have no idea how much gold exists. None. We have no idea how much silver exists. None. And again, we talked about this before, but the crazy thing about Bitcoin is that no matter how much technology improves, and I'm thinking most people in the chat would agree with me here, the technology is probably going to get better as we go forward here. And they're going to be able to find gold that they couldn't find before. They're going to be able to get to gold that they couldn't get to before. If enough people want to hold these assets, we can increase the supply to get more gold or silver. And as technology gets better, our ability to mine is going to increase. We're going to get more efficient. We're going to find places that we couldn't find before. So the supply is always going to go up of these assets forever, versus something with a truly fixed supply here. That's a big deal. That's a big, big, big deal. So scarcity you can verify. Let's go to time chain calendar. Let's verify how much there is this second. There is. Oh, I forgot to do these this morning to start the show. Sorry about that. Silk Road Day today. On this day in 2011, Ross Albright launched the Silk Road anonymous marketplace where all payments used Bitcoin. Awesome. Got to watch Ross give his speech in Vegas last year. But this is the supply right here. 19.98 million, which is 95.14% of the 21 million. And if you don't believe that, that's just a number on a screen. You can actually go into every single block starting on January 3rd, 2009, right here, Genesis block. And you can see every Coinbase transaction since then, every block since January 3rd, 2009. You can verify this yourself. Oh, 50 new Bitcoin. 50 new Bitcoin. You can verify this. You're not trusting anybody. You can verify this. And that's a big deal. So absolute scarcity that you can verify. 21 hard cap versus unknown silver reserves. Math beats hope. And most importantly here, this is because this is kind of the argument that gold and silver bugs have now is, we can tokenize silver and gold. So then it'll be more portable. Great. Maybe you could send me a tip on my QR code in silver. You could do that. Probably will happen. But it's going to zero against Bitcoin. Why? Two things. I would say two things. One, there's a big difference. Actually, let me bold that because it's important. This is a big difference. There's a big difference between difference between pretty scarce, and absolutely scarce. So that's a big one. That's a pretty big one. Again, if more people want gold and silver, we're going to find more gold and silver. Straight up. Supply will meet demand. So it will, what happened there? It will forever trend towards zero because of that. So now if we go number 2 here, and most importantly, why is this not working for me? 2 is that silver, gold require trust. Bitcoin is the asset. Bitcoin is the bearer asset. If you tokenize silver and gold, you're still relying on somebody else, a third party in this equation here, that they actually have your gold. So you might buy tokenized silver and you might have 50 ounces of it, but you'll have to trust somebody else that they actually have that silver and you're the only one who owns that, and that it's real silver. It's not nickel. It's not full of other crap like we've seen a lot coming out of China and other countries. You have to trust somebody that, again, it's there, that you're the only owner of it, and then it's real. You can't fake Bitcoin. You don't have to trust anybody with Bitcoin. And that's why these assets here, even though they're ripping right now, they will trend to zero against Bitcoin because people will figure this out. We'll probably go through a phase where we have CBDCs, we have tokenized gold, we have these different countries trying to do different things. It's all going to fail. It's all going to go to zero against Bitcoin. So moral of the story here. Moral. 1, do not chase. Do not chase stocks. Do not chase silver and gold, even though they're running right now. Do not chase them. Instead, focus your time and energy on yourself, on your family, and on your security. And your overall knowledge, because the more you know in Bitcoin, the more conviction you have, the less likely you are to panic and do something stupid with your Bitcoin. But also, it does not matter how much Bitcoin you have today. All that matters is how much your family has in 50 years from now. So spend your time growing yourself, growing your skills, becoming more valuable, adding more value to the world, converting that value to Bitcoin, learning how to protect that Bitcoin, enjoying yourself. Because the only real currency that we have. Oh, there's one more part of this too that I want to mention. The only real currency that we have is time. That's the only unit that matters. Everything else, you die, goes to somebody else. You get to own it. And that's why I wanted to mention that first, because that's another part of this silver and gold versus Bitcoin, is that Bitcoin is the only asset that you can own. Bitcoin is the only asset that you can own. And again, you only own it until you die, and then it goes to somebody else, or maybe not, but eventually probably AI will scoop it out of your wallet one day. So it will go to somebody else eventually. But you compare that to gold and silver, and you might say, well, Jor, I can hold my gold ounce in my hand. It's not, I don't have to trust anybody. I don't have to pay anybody property tax. That's fine. That's right. But the difference here is that gold and silver are yours until someone more powerful comes along. And that's the case with gold, silver, real estate, land. You can own it on paper. You can hold it in your hand, but it's only yours until somebody more powerful comes along. Versus Bitcoin, where even if somebody comes along has bigger guns, they can't take your Bitcoin from you. If you store it properly, if you learn how to secure it, which is, again, focusing on how to secure your Bitcoin properly, they can't steal it from you. The only way to guarantee that they won't get your Bitcoin is to kill you, which is so monumental when you really think about it and when you understand that. Big. But again, we go back to this. The only real currency that we have here is time. So that's the lesson for today. And I want to share a couple different things before we go here. So number one, I got a couple different lists here. I have a free course that I just released. I think it was last week I uploaded the last one, called 11 days. No, what is it? 11-day Bitcoin journey. And it's for anybody who's somewhat new to Bitcoin. I would say if you've been in Bitcoin for like less than 2 years, because it really took me 2 years to figure out what the hell I was doing. So that's free for everybody here. And I'm going to have that in the pinned comments if you're watching this later. But I'm also going to share it here in the chat for you if you're watching on the tubes. So that's the first one, is that I release this because I just think that this is such important information to get out there, and I don't really want to put it behind a paywall, because really my mission here is to get more average people into Bitcoin, and not only into Bitcoin, but actually doing it right and protecting their Bitcoin properly. So I just shared the link here for you. That's a free course. You can go check out. It's 11 episodes and it's right here. Oh, we got lots going on here. So you can see here, all 11 shows are now up. You got the buying, you got how much do you need, you got Bitcoin versus Lightning wallet, earning Bitcoin wallets, backing up your keys, best practices. Again, I would say if you just watch 2 of them, it should be these 2 right here, 9 and 10. Even if you're somebody who's been in Bitcoin for a couple of years now, you might learn something, and these are free resources for you. So that's the first part. Number 2, oh, this freaking number keeps messing with me here. Number 2 is I just created a new channel called Underrated. And that's kind of what the Visionaries community is all about. It is not just Bitcoin, but it's having the right mindset, and it's learning how to make yourself more valuable. And obviously when you make more value, you convert it into Bitcoin, and that's a big part of it too. So the Visionaries is focused on both Bitcoin, sovereignty, your mindset, and becoming more valuable. That's what this community embodies here. But the 88 Sats radio channel, I want to pretty much just leave Bitcoin focused, because not everybody wants to learn this stuff, right? So I figured we might as well make a new channel. And kind of keep things separate. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of different videos on this channel. The channel is called Underrated. And you can see this is the video that I would recommend you watch. Everybody here today, increase your income by 1,000% by getting 0.01% better every day by following this formula right here. So I'm going to share this link here. It's Underrated, youtube.com/ no, I guess you're not going to type that in, but I will put it in the chat there for you. And I'll put it in the Zapstream. Is Zapstream still going over there? Still showing 0 viewers for me, but I don't think that that's right. I didn't even share it with Nostra though. So this is the new channel. Look at these nice thumbnails. Whew. Pretty nice. So it's the idea here is a journey to natural wealth through timeless principles. Natural wealth. which means you're aligned with nature, which is a value-added economy, which is you increasing your skills, increasing your knowledge, becoming a little bit better every day, giving that to the world and protecting that. That's natural wealth, not artificial wealth. That's natural wealth. So that's kind of the principles of this new channel. So if you're interested in that, go over and subscribe. Don't subscribe just to, be nice to me. If you're actually interested, if you're actually going to watch the videos, then head over and subscribe to the new underrated channel. And finally here, consider joining Bitcoin School, which starts on March 15th, 2026. But you get 2.5 months of bonus content and kind of building up towards the course that starts on March 15th. So that's on school.com/88 sats. Or you can join as a member. Join as a member on YouTube. And you're going to get the episodes. It's basically, not basically, it's a Bitcoin video every single day. 15 to 20 minutes, all different topics, every single day. And they're not recorded. They're not from 2025 either. I'm doing these videos every single day. So if you want to take this seriously, kind of what I mentioned at the top of the show here is that if you take these next 2 years, and the Bitcoin School and the YouTube channel, they're criminally underpriced for what you get from it. It's truly invaluable information. And you might watch videos, you might spend some time, a little bit of money, but there might be one thing in one video that you change in your setup that actually means that you have your Bitcoin 50 years from now, or your family does. So if you take these next 2 years seriously, you change the direction of your family forever. Your bloodline forever changes from what you did back in 2026. And the last thing I wanted to say here is we had a lot of people join the Lightning list. I think we're almost full now. I'm pretty sure we have about 65 or 70 people on the Lightning list, which is kind of like my email list, except you get sats, not just an email with spam. But if you want to be added to the Lightning list, we're going to do a draw for this hat probably next week. I'm guessing we'll fill up after. We're only taking 88 because I don't want to have thousands of people that I got to send sats to get a message out there. So we're limiting it at 88 people. So if you want to be added to the list, if you have an address that looks something like this, don't send me an invoice. Don't send me a Bitcoin address. It has to be a Bitcoin Lightning address. So if you want to be added to the list, get some sats and find out about future things and get your name into the hat for this beautiful king hat. You can email 88sats@proton.me. So I'm going to have all these links for anybody watching the live today and watching the recorded version on Saturday. I'm going to have links to everything I talked about here today. And I'm going to put one more link in there today because I actually had 3 people in the last week use my link to buy this. And I highly encourage anybody out there who's serious about their health. This is hydration, electrolytes, salt, and it is amazing taste. So it's called Element. And I'll share the referral in a second here. I think you get like 10 free packs of different kinds. I recommend lemonade salt, citrus salt, raspberry salt. And I tried watermelon too, but I didn't really like it that much. So I got 2 packs of lemonade. You can get like a 4-pack. I got 2 lemonade, 1 citrus, and 1 raspberry. And I have probably 2 of these every day. Afternoon, I mix it with some creatine after the workout, but it just gives some flavor in there. And I hate drinking water as it is. So if you do use the link here that I have, you get a free sample pack from Element. So I'll find that real quick. And again, I'm going to have all these links for you that I've mentioned here so far. They'll all be in the pinned comments of this video. So I'll put this link in the YouTube chat quickly. Oh, shit. Closed it. There we go. And the last thing here. So this is the, where'd that go? This is the school site here. So the classroom that you can click there, you get the Bitcoin School. So these are all the videos. I've done a video every single day in 2026, and we're going to do one every single day in 2026. A lot of different topics here, and a lot of very important information in terms of your UTXOs. I had a really good video here on Lightning funds and how I use Lightning wallets to essentially as insurance and stuff for the future. Key versus phrase versus wallet. So this is the stuff that you need to know as a Bitcoiner. And you can kind of access this. You can go back and rewatch it. All this is available in the classroom, plus resources, plus the course, plus a few other. Oh, and I put the cold card masterclass up here too. I forgot about. But passphrase, all this information is part of the school community here. So again, I'm just going to put that one more time in the pin comments. And before we start the course in March, the price of this monthly is going to go up. So if you're interested, not only will you get a reduced rate, but you'll also lock that rate in forever. And you're going to get 2.5 months worth of bonus content. So that's it. That's the show today. If you're watching this on Saturday, well, that's not the show yet. For the people here, we're going to keep going. But if you're watching this, the replay on Saturday, I hope you have a great day today. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you same time next week. And for everybody else, God, that's good. I usually have one of these things first in the morning, kind of get your day off before I have any coffee. I have some electrolyte salt water. And I don't know if you've had like liquid IV or anything like that, but it's absolute dog shit compared to these. This doesn't have any salt in it, or it doesn't have any sugar, I mean. So that's Element one more time. Hopefully people out there, if you got some free cash and you want to try it out, let me know what you think. And thank me later. Okay. So it is time for some Q&A. That was a long lesson. Hopefully you enjoyed it though. I don't look at the comments during the stream, but I do want to start with this. What's this? Camille. Look at that. $5 super sticker. One of the most supportive fellas lately in the channel here has been Camille. Member of the Bitcoin School. Also, as you can see that little S on his name there. Also a member of the YouTube channel. And so he is a big supporter of the show and a super sticker too. Thank you, Camille, very much. Okay, I can't believe I forgot to tell Nostr that we're live here. I'm sure I'll see some comments here right away, but is Nostr working? It doesn't appear to be for me. It looks like the stream's working. No, it's not even on sas.gg. I wonder what's going on here. I'm sure I'll see some comments about it anyways. So let's go through some comments here. What do you guys think of that one today? I think that'll probably be one of the best lessons we have. Just because it makes so much sense, you know? The world always gravitates to things that make sense. Okay, we got Chuck. Time to dump silver, buy Bitcoin. Josh says, I've got about 20 ounces of silver right now. I've been trying to trade it for a pre-64 Winchester Model 94. 30/30. You'd think I could find a seller wanting that trade? No, they all want fiat. Wow. Damn. Lost his dog in the snow. No, I wouldn't lose Arnie in the snow. He loves the snow. Nobody's happier when it snows than Arnie. Morning from the mountaintops of Alberta. Nice. Sedge, good to see you, my friend. And we got Lori here. Good morning, Lori. Very good to see you. What's this mystical snow you speak of? Yeah, Scotty, you probably don't get a whole lot of snow in Japan. Eh? Oh, there we go. I missed some. Wow, I missed a lot on Nostr. Sorry, Nostr. It just wasn't working for me. Okay, I'm going to start with Nostr because I love Nostr. Okay, we got, I see David T's over there. David T's up 1,420 units of freedom. Said good morning. Thank you, David T. Sats and Sunset zapped 1,400 units of freedom for lesson number 14. Nice. Thank you, my friend. That's very, very kind. Scotty Zap 99 said he didn't see me. Sad. Yeah, it wasn't bringing up for me here, Scotty. Sorry, buddy. But I see you now. Chuck zapped 111 units of freedom. Said, great post. Thank you, Chuck. Plural zap 250 units of sovereignty. Said, good morning. Duncan with the DCA today. My man. Thank you, Duncan. That helps the show a lot. Speaking of very consistent supporters, Duncan. Today we got 3425 units of freedom for $3 worth of dirty ass fiat. And we're going to be buying some Bitcoin here right away. Scotty said, I want to be a Nostr viewer. Yeah, well, you are now, man. You are now. Scotty says, it's exciting to see the metals running. Bitcoin is just waiting quietly. That's what it feels like, doesn't it? That's what it feels like to me. Lori's over in Nostr. Wow, listen, Lori, over in Nostr. Love that. Scotty said, Tokyo Beat Lab. It'll be on the cards, right, Cannon? Scotty and Canada must be working, doing some work together. Sats and Sunset zapped 69 sats and said, wine is liquid, but it's not liquid. Good point. And Josh says it's working flawlessly. All right. Middle of nowhere sounds like Citadel territory, says Scotty boy. So thank you, Scotty. Thank you, Sats and Sunsets. Thank you, Duncan. Thank you, Plural. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Sats and Sunsets. Thank you, David T. And thank you, Sharon B, for zapping our guy Lucky this morning. Okay, let's get some chats here. 22 deaths? Who the hell died from snow? Oh, probably freezing. Would it be freezing temps though? Because I feel like there's a lot of homeless people here in Manitoba, and it's like 30 degrees colder. How do people die in snow? VHF, good to see you, man. Paultron says, hey, Jor, happy to see you on the grind. You and Forrest and Rajat, I watch all your stuff to pack my brain on all things Bitcoin. Nice. Good to see you, Paul. At 1 million, I'll still be stacking waiting for 100 million. Yeah, you'll just get way less sats, though. That's a problem. Sharon B says, it wasn't my first snow and it won't be my last. It happens once or twice a year and it sucks donkey ass. Scotty Boy. Actually, I want to give a shout out to Scotty Boy today, too. While we're giving shout outs. Is this the right place for shout outs, Scotty? That's what Scotty will say. There's 12 words right there. So Scotty's got a really cool channel. And I'll bring this up here. Let me take it down for a second. But his channel is named Bitcoin Beats, BTC Beats. And he releases a song about Bitcoin, sovereignty, freedom, and other people every day. It says 12 words like the song. So make sure you check out BTC Beats. I'll put it in the chat here for everybody to go and subscribe. Again, default to support. We're all on Team Bitcoin here. And let's listen to our favorite song here. Visionaries.
There has to be a better way.
My favorite song.
Fighting for survival day by day.
Let's take a little break and listen to this.
Bleed and hope to stay afloat. But somewhere deep inside, we know the current isn't taking us home. The screens all hum a tired tune. The numbers rise and fall like tides. They said the money's backed by faith, but faith in kings is just a lie. The weight of years we can't redeem. The paper walls of someone else's dream. We met through words across the wire, each one searching for a fire. No flags to wave, no names to boast, just drifting souls comparing ghosts. In late night chats and quiet threads, we stitched our doubts with hope instead. A spark in the static, a truth redefined. We started to see why they wanted us blind. We are the visionaries, hearts of stone and flame, carving freedom from the ruins. We'll never live the same. From shadowed screens to open skies, we'll teach the world to see through lies. We are the visionaries, and our voices will remain. We built small circles into towns where honesty could still be found. Trade by trade and word by word, our message spread, our truth was heard. No banker's hand, no master's chain, just labor's work and fairer gain. We plant these seeds in borrowed earth for children yet to find their worth. When all the false lights fade and fall, they'll walk in truth that's worth it all. We are the visionaries, unshaken and unbound. The system cracked beneath our sound. From humble hands, the future grows. Through every trial, the fire still glows. We are the visionaries, and the world is turning around. Now I see faces where names once were, no longer lost in the digital blur. The world we dream is breathing now. We made it real. We kept the vow.
Wow, Scotty boy. What a tune. Oh, look at that. A couple of other friends here. We got Forrest. We got Fat Zap Friday. What a tune. Did I share that in the chat? Yes, I did. So go, if you like that song, there's plenty more where that came from on Scotty Boy's channel. What a song. God, I love that song. Makes me emotional almost, which I shouldn't be playing while I'm on a live stream. But, okay, I see a couple here that I missed. A couple zaps. One from Benjamin. 888 units of freedom. He said, great, 0.01% better video, Jor. Keep rocking. So thank you, Benjamin. And we got one from Praetorian here to the Jor at Risful. So I don't know how many people here. I think a lot of people who watch the show now have a lightning address. So again, if you learned anything, if you want to, oh, that's a maple one, but leave a thumbs up. More important to me is that if you could, after the show today, just leave a comment saying that you learned something or you enjoyed it or whatever. People do actually read the comments and it makes a difference for the channel. So I would appreciate that. And again, we don't have any sponsors here. We are 100% funded by the community. And so if you do want to send some support my way, that's the best way to do it there, right at the bottom. And big shout out to Conrad. Conrad zapped 963, a reverse Tesla zap. And he said, Rocket Jor. So thank you, Conrad. And then we got one from Praetorian here. Said, thank you for all your tutelage and all your kind words, also for the promotion of my new YouTube channel. Super busy today, passively listening. 8,888 units of sovereignty. So thank you. Thank you to all. And great tune there, Scotty boy. Okay, what else we got for comments here? Oh, we got a lot to get through. All right. Nav says at 1 mil, I'll be cooked out of my mind. Oh, no, we're not going to say that word on here. No, you won't. Okay, actually, you know what happens here? If you send a super chat, you get to skip ahead. Just like if you're sending Bitcoin on the Layer 1 network and you want your transaction to be put through quicker, you pay a little bit more fee. And so we're skipping here to Blobbeer Man. Says in the Netherlands, they're planning to tax 30% on Bitcoin every year if you don't sell starting in 2028. Thoughts on that? I I would get the hell out of there. That's what I would do. There's plenty of great places to live on this planet. And I would not be living in a country with insane leaders like that. I bet there's every single person who's a Bitcoiner is going to move away from there. And they're going to realize one day, just like Germany will, of how stupid that decision was. Because kind of my thoughts on that longer term, that's a great question. I really appreciate the support. €5. That's meaningful to me. But yeah, we're probably going to see more and more of that, right? Because these countries who have been stealing people's time, energy, freedoms for decades now, they live in the fiat system. That's the only thing that keeps them alive. Without fiat, they die. And so as these countries get more and more desperate, there's going to be a mixture of things happening. There's just going to be people who straight up stop paying income tax because they're just like, why would I give you money? It's actually immoral for me to give you money. For how you're spending these dollars, for how you're treating people, it is immoral for me to send you money. So they're going to get more and more desperate. And as that happens, they're going to do shit like this. This will be the first of many. It'll probably happen in Europe. It'll probably come to Canada. But eventually what's going to happen is they're going to realize Netherlands is going to be like the test case for that. And they're going to see all these Bitcoiners leaving the Netherlands and going to other places where they're treated better. And that's the whole thesis of the sovereign individual, is that people now have the ability to work from wherever because of the internet. Everything's going to decentralize. Countries are going to fall. And people are going to have the ability to move freely. And when you're not tied down, that's a perfect question for what we talked about today. Because imagine that. Imagine you had 1,000 ounces of silver and you had to leave the country because of shit like this. What are you doing with it? You're forced. You're stuck there. Whereas with Bitcoin, you just leave. You memorize your 12 words, maybe for a week or two, or you write it in your book, your 12 words, but you just hop on a plane and you leave, and you're not tied to anything. There's no anchor on your ass. So people will move. People will move to the place that they're treated best. We've been seeing that for the last decade. But then eventually countries are going to say, hey, these Bitcoiners are not only pretty wealthy people investing in their towns, investing in the country, adding value, but they're also very intelligent people. And we want Bitcoiners as citizens. So we're going to see a shift here. We're going to see a shift of this stuff happening originally. And then it's going to shift to countries saying, hey, we'll actually give you a free citizenship if you come and live in our country. If you bring your Bitcoin to our country and you invest it in businesses or you put it in our banks that they can hold as a reserve, we're going to give you free citizenship. So Bitcoiners are not only going to be tied to nothing, but they're going to be very much in demand by every single country, every single person. If you're a Bitcoiner out there right now and you're single, just give it a few years. You're going to have a nice wife, but make sure you don't tell her how much Bitcoin you have before you get into the relationship with her. But Bitcoiners are going to be very much in demand by countries, by people, by banks, by everybody. It's just going to play out. It just takes time. Like everything in life takes a lot of time, unfortunately. But it doesn't work on our clock. So thank you for the question. Hopefully that, I don't know what kind of answer you're looking for there, but that's my thoughts on it. And thank you for the support, my friend. Very much appreciated. Okay. Wow, I missed a lot here. Okay. We got some weather reports here. Lori says, thanks for the reminder. Yes, Lori is over in Noster today. Love to see that. Love to see that. David T. Zap 99. So did Scotty. Thank you, fellas. Oh, that was, I knew it was you. I knew it was you. And it was kind of a giveaway because you like sending that number, but also the fact that you were working a night shift. That's why and for, obvious reasons. Joe from California is here. Morning, Joe. Hopefully it's nicer there than it is here today. Sincere. Joe, Sincere, the fellas are here today. Good to see you, boys. My company would flip out if we were filming our work. Company secrets and all. Yeah, it'd probably be different for everybody. J-Dog says, hello. Quick hello. Going to have to catch up later. Hope all is good, Jor, Arnie, and Lucky. Things are really good here. Thank you, J-Dog. Appreciate you, buddy. Okay, so we had, again, we had Praetorian's channel there. I'm going to leave all those links in the pinned comments. Subscribe. Lots of subscriptions here. Buck52's here. Good morning, Buck52. Valacane. Hopefully buy my first home. That's what I mean. So that's what you want. This isn't a game of trying to get as much Bitcoin as we can. The game is adding as much value as we can and storing that value in the best battery, which is Bitcoin. Look at this. Praetorian's pumped. Love to see that. Okay, you know what we're going to do right now while we got a decent crowd in here? Let's give away some Bitcoin. And then we'll get to some more comments here. We're an hour 35 into it. And we'll probably do about 2 hours today, I'd say. So we still got about 25 minutes left. But let's give away some Bitcoin. So what you want to do now is get your Lightning wallets opened up if you have one. Wallet of Satoshi works best, I find. Get your Lightning wallet opened up, point it at the screen, press send. And the first person to scan this QR code will win some Bitcoin. We got a couple zaps to Arnie Boy too. Look at that, Arnie. Arnie Boy. We got a shot of espresso to Arnie Boy. I don't know who that was from, but thank you. 5,000 units of freedom to Arnie. And 2,100 sats to Arnie. Said, thanks for a great lesson, Jor, from 21 Sat Street. Thank you, Kev. Appreciate that. So that's the QR code right here. You can scan that. You can send any amount of Bitcoin or units of freedom, units of sovereignty, whatever you want to call them, to Arnie Boy and the Rescue Dog Fund, which is likely what it's going to be used for. And it might even be on this property here. Who knows? But we got some big plans for the future. So thanks to everybody who has sent in some support today. I very much appreciate it. Very much. And I'm hoping these lessons are resonating with people. I hope that you can share these lessons with, I've been trying to keep them very family friendly. So you can share them with friends and family and give them a good idea of, why you're so excited about Bitcoin. So here we go. First person to scan this QR code is going to get some sats. Somebody just sent in 1 sat to Arnie. So thank you for that. 612 sats. Whoever scans that first. Who's going to get it? Who is going to get it? That's a big one, actually. 612 sats. That's $612 worth of purchasing power at some point in the future. Not if, but when. So there's the first toss. Hopefully it's been claimed. We'll double check here. And thank you for the 1 sat. I do appreciate it. Looks like it's been claimed. And it looks like somebody else sent in some sats to Arnie Boy. A couple. Look at that. Arnie's hot today. 5,000 units of sovereignty. Wow. Said cheers. So we got a couple anonymous ones here. And we got 1,000 sats. I'm guessing that was from Canon. He said, Arnie's the man. 1,000 units of freedom to Arnie Boy's QR code there, the Rescue Dog Fund. So thank you, fellas, or fellies. Okay, let's do another one here. Maybe do 3 today. Another thou. Arnie's hot. That's an anonymous one. Thou. All right. People. It looks like people are liking the show today. 369, a Tesla win. For the first person to scan that. Wow, people are fast here, man. I scanned that pretty quick and it's already been claimed. Damn. 369, Tesla. Zap. What Tesla say? If you can, to understand the key, what was it? I want to find the quote here. 369. What was Tesla's quote about 369? If you knew the magnificence of 3, 6, and 9, you would have the key to the universe. Nikola Tesla. And Tesla was a big proponent of frequencies, vibrations. And that's actually a big part of our underrated channel. We're going to be talking about that kind of stuff. We're going to be talking about Napoleon Hill. We're going to be talking about Earl Nightingale. We're going to be talking about Henry Ford, Nikola Tesla. So it's definitely ties into Bitcoin, but it's a little bit more of like, learning about the universe and how we can play in the universe most effectively. So again, just in case you're not subscribed to the underrated channel yet, kind of the idea, and I forgot to mention this in the first part, but the idea of it is becoming underrated. Because when you think about what is underrated, it's the greatest compliment. Whenever somebody in the YouTube comment says, "Jor, you're underrated," that's my favorite comment to receive. Oh, what happened there? And so I think everybody should try to become more underrated. That's the whole point of this, because when you're underrated, what does that mean? It means that you're adding more value than you're taking back. You're doing more than you get credit for. And that's what we should strive to do. We should all strive to add more value than we take back. And over the long term, if you can do that consistently, you're going to win. So that's the whole point of this channel here, the new channel, Underrated. And I'm going to be sharing hopefully close to daily lessons on there. So I'll just throw that in the chat again in case anybody wants to go check it out. A couple good videos, but make sure everybody watches this video right here. Increase your income by 1,000%. This is the only way that you're going to outperform Bitcoin in the next decade, is by using this formula here. So there it is. All right, where were we? Let's do one more toss. Let's do one more toss. These tosses are all courtesy of our friends at the Bitcoin Well. And I'm going to put up Bitcoin Wells. You can go to bitcoinwell.com/Jor, I believe it is. And if you sign up for an account with Bitcoin Well, you get some tosses into the well, just like this. bitcoinwell.com/Jor. So if you're in Canada or the US, I highly suggest you set up an account. Just do like $100 or $200 or $500 worth of Bitcoin purchase and just see what you think. See if you like it. I guarantee if it's not the one you're using already, it's going to be one that you use in the future. In Canada, I like Bitcoin Well, #1, Bull Bitcoin Shake Pay. In the US, I like River, Bitcoin Well, and probably Strike, maybe Kraken. So if you're in North America, definitely get yourself an account at Bitcoin Well there. And again, I'll put all these links in the show notes below, but it's pretty easy to find. bitcoinwell.com/Jor, and you'll get yourself some free tosses into the well, some free sats just for signing up. I think you have to buy like $100 worth, but get some free sats. So this is the last one here today. What did they win? 540. 540. All right, the espresso is done. The espresso is done. Dunzo. Oh yeah, we got another one here. Couple. People enjoyed the show today. That's good to see. Sharon B sent 555 and said not catnip. I'm guessing that was Sharon. So thank you, Sharon. Then somebody sent 1,000 units of freedom and said, good show today, bud. And again, it's pretty cool because we don't have any sponsors on the show. And it really takes a community. If we were reliant on one person to fund this channel, I think we would have been stopped about 2 years ago now. But any amount, 1,000, 500, 5,000, 2,100, these all add up to something for me. So big shout out to everybody, big or small, who has been supporting us, not only financial support, but also, letting me know that you enjoyed the show today and to keep doing this stuff. It's a good feedback loop. So bitcoinwell.com/Jor. My favorite thing about Bitcoin Well is, and a very underrated part of Bitcoin Well, is you can actually use the swap feature that they have. And you can convert your on-chain Bitcoin to Lightning or you can convert your Bitcoin on Lightning to on-chain. And you can use Bitcoin well, and you can do it for free. I haven't seen anybody else who offers that feature. You can swap for free. So you don't have to pay the conversion fees. You don't have to pay the on-chain fees. You can swap Bitcoin on-chain to Lightning for free, or Lightning to on-chain for free if you have a Bitcoin Well account. Pretty badass. Pretty badass. Okay, lesson 9 is missing in the 88 sats lesson playlist. Okay, I'll have to add that. We definitely did it. I just didn't, I must not add it to the playlist. Thank you. Hey, Trent's here. Bitcoin technician. Good to see you, Trent. Very good to see you. North Star. There it is. We got North Star and North Star in the community here. 2 different people. Both great names, though. Good to see you, my friend. Gold dumped an entire Bitcoin market cap worth in a couple hours yesterday. Yeah, it doesn't take much, eh? Bitcoin's still pretty small. Barely flinched. Parker's here. Senior Gringo Poppy. Good morning, fellas. Isn't it ironic? Yes. Alanis is a Canadian treasure. Absolutely. I'm glad you guys like that. Rain on your wedding day. Yes, you are Alanising right. Silver and gold holders will take some profits off the table where they put the gains. Well, the other thing you got to think about too is like the millennials right now, because a lot of baby boomers love their gold and silver, but eventually that wealth is going to be passed down to the Gen X and the millennials. And do you think that they're going to be holding gold and silver, or are they going to be holding Bitcoin? So eventually all that's going to flow into Bitcoin. Eventually. Plastic, good to see you. Hell of a Canadian, yes. Amen to that. Okay, I just got to, Sin says, Buck, if they swap it for more units of illusion in the very system they speak against, talk about ironic. So true. If you're holding gold and silver to get out of fiat and then you swap it back to fiat, very true. Jor, those are called your 20s. Yeah, that's true. But I still feel like there's people in their 60s and 50s and 70s that are still completely blind to the reality. Solar says, I think Bitcoin goes to 0 and we transact in sats. Well, it won't go to 0, but yeah, we will definitely, Bitcoin goes to 0 USD and we transact in sats. Yeah, that's a good point, because when fiat fails, we won't have anything to price it in, right? It's a good point. Birdbox. Yeah, everybody had that one. What did I say? Birdman? It's happening in slow motion, true, but it also is happening very fast. And if you think about it big picture wise, sometimes it hurts to see the truth. You can't spell truth without hurt. That is very true. Very true words there, my friend. Okay, North Star says they think we're going to be flipping silver dimes to people for services. If that's the future, most people wouldn't even want to live in the type of environment. That's what I mean. It just doesn't make sense. When you actually think about it from a first principles perspective, it doesn't make sense. Sin says Simon, Lola, and Whitney are basically the 3 Kermageddons. For real, though. For real. It's I don't have any time for that. Some of them might have good points, but it's like I'd rather be hopeful. Silver has a great value as a consumable, which makes it a horrible money. Exactly. You shouldn't be hoping Bitcoin saves you in a year. We're thinking decades here, my friend. Satstrat says, hey, Jor, I'm late. I've loved questions like this. When do you think Satoshis will become so insanely valuable that exchanges will sell sats, not full Bitcoin? Well, you can buy sats today. You can trade $2 worth of fiat for sats today. When will it be priced in sats? When we hit 1 million. 1 million in Bitcoin in 10 seconds. Going to spend a bit longer on check-in address before sending that amount if I were doing that. I mean, it's, I was helping somebody set up a hardware device yesterday. And I was kind of explaining UTXOs to them. And I said, it's 100% based on the data size. It has nothing to do with the amount of Bitcoin that you're sending. And I said, you could send, because we sent a transaction just to make sure that the keys worked. So we sent a transaction. I think it cost 110 sats, which is about what? 110 sats, 10 cents. And I said, if you had one UTXO with $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, you could move it for 10 cents. How does that not win? How does that not win? Also consider all the fact of absolute scarcity. You can hop on a plane with it. You can verify it. It takes energy to create it. But it doesn't require central party to trust. How do you beat that? You can't. That's the answer, is you can't. Bitcoin will never be recreated. Chamdes, yo, George, did you see how much snow in Russia and Kamchatka region? Watch on. No, I haven't. The silver is king. Nice. Will metals continue to outpace crypto? Probably for a while. I don't know what the year will be when it flips, but again, it's just Bitcoin's so misunderstood. Nobody understands it. How could it be fairly valued? Everybody understands silver. Everybody understands gold. Okay. Leaden offering silverback loans, not likely. You can vault your precious metals and earn yield and buy and sell. Companies do that. Cool. But let there be no doubt, Bitcoin is the fastest horse, no doubt. Thiago, Adam, Lori, good to see you. Great to see you. Don't spread yourself too thin. No, it won't be spreading myself too thin at all, actually. It's I'm going to be doing so for the underrated channel, I'm going to be doing those segments as part of the daily visionary show that we do already. So it's not going to be any more time. I'm not going to have to spend time doing videos. It's basically just taking those from Rumble, clipping them and putting them onto YouTube specifically for that segment. So it might be an extra like 10 minutes a day, but I can handle that. And I think that the main reason I wanted to start the underrated channel is to kind of keep it separate from Bitcoin because YouTube likes that. But the other reason, I've been trying to think of a way to bring people that aren't in Bitcoin yet into Bitcoin. People who don't have Bitcoin in their algorithms yet, bring them into Bitcoin. And I feel like the underrated channel, the principles of success principles, Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale, that'll bring people into Bitcoin over time. I really believe that because they're Bitcoiners. They just don't really know it yet. Look at this, another frog, man. We should, maybe I'll close the show with that today if I can find it here quickly. Maybe I'll close the show with another frog's video. How would I find that, another frog? Did you guys see that? That was really cool. We had Rajat Forrest and I were featured in the epic video from another frog that was shared last week on Nostr. I think it was on Twitter too. See if I can find it here quickly. Good to see you though, another frog. Full package is coming in the mail. What does that mean? Full package is coming in the mail. I don't know what that means. To you or to me? There it is right there. There's a little bit of a sneak peek from another frog's video. Really cool. That was such an honor to be with guys like Jeff Booth, Lawrence Lepard, Jack Maulers, Jack Dorsey. But there's the crew from Maple Bitcoin off the Titanic and hanging onto a log. Hey, another frog. I don't know if you're still here or not. But was this log here anything to do with like maple? That's what Forrest thought of. It was like a maple log. If so, that's pretty damn clever. Okay. What do we have here? Brett's here. Good morning, Brett. Otto's here. Sato says, Jor, a quick comment. I'm happy today because for the first time, one of my videos reached more than 400 views in under 24 hours of posting it. Wow. Thank you for the inspiration, my friend. Thank you. That's awesome. Congratulations. Sato Millionario. Great dude. Hey, B Money's here. B Money in the chat. Good to see you, my friend. Okay, we got some news on the deaths. 2 deaths in Massachusetts. They got hit by a snowplow. What? Most of the deaths were from ice bringing trees down and lost power with no heat. Wow. That's not ideal. That is not ideal. Good music, yes, wasn't it? That's Scotty Boy. That's Scotty Boy. Okay, look at that. We got some love for the new song there, Scotty Boy. It is nonsense, but it will fail. It'll fail. Harry. Good to see you, Harry. Thanks for the kind words, my friend. Very much appreciated. Yeah, I would just get the hell out of Netherlands if it was me. Hey, Matt's here. Matt FRL, the man himself. And another legend here, Forrest. Forrest says border wall tech makes individuals more sovereign in the potential crazy future. Amen to that. Amen to that. Oh, he's already in Germany. Well, you had Germany sold all their Bitcoin. You got to find some smart countries to live in there, Blobberman. Santino, holy cow, everybody's here today. Had to stop the stream to listen to Alanis Morissette. I'll be back in a few minutes. Hey, you never know what you're going to get here. That's for sure. B Money referred me here. I'm glad there's more finance content creators. Good to see ya. Bora Capitati. What wallet is good for a boomer in the US? Lots of good ones. I use Sparrow's the best wallet. Oh, Hertz. That's such a good song. Such a good song. Duncan says, thanks for the great lesson today. It was a good one while listening, while working. Have to shoot, so done my smash buy. Wow, look at that. Duncan on everybody here. You got 700,063 freedom units for 500 quid. Okay, Scotty boy, let's get our smash buy going here, buddy. Ooh, a little Paul Brandt in the background here. Who's familiar with Paul Brandt? Probably Canadians, but Paul Brandt's one of my favorite artists all time. It's funny, this song's called Didn't Even See the Dust. And we used to shotgun beers to this song. Fuck, wow, that's a good song. Oh, yeah. Okay. Weekly smash average here. So this is every week we're buying a little bit of Bitcoin here. Every day we do, actually, on the Visionary Show. And today we're going to buy how much, Scotty? What are we, up or down? Are we up or are we down? We're pretty much caught up on comments. Looking a tad down, pretty even. Okay, so what does even mean? $11. So if you're getting in on the action today, post how much you spent and how much you got for the trade today. I'm going to buy $11 worth because we are even. This is kind of like an intelligent DCA, but as you can see there, the most important thing, it does not matter how much you buy. You could buy $1 worth, $2 worth, doesn't matter. The only thing is that you're buying consistently every single day. So I'm going to trade $11 today for 9,021 precious, scarce, energy-backed units. $11 for 9,021 sats. What was it? Shit. 9,021. Okay. So it does not matter how much you buy. The only thing that matters is that you buy. So what I do is I put about $100 on my Shake Pay every week, and then I just buy a small amount every day. So we're going to do this over time. Very small actions, very consistently, add up to something very big. Wanted something Canadian. Actually, yeah, there you go. You were right, Forrest. There you go. Okay, I'm going to hit the road here, folks, because it's already 11 o'clock here, and I got some shit to do. So thanks for tuning in today. Very much. Thanks for all the support, for the love. I'll have all the links and stuff in the pinned comments. We'll be back here next Tuesday, same time, same place. And if you're interested in showing up every day here, we do a show called The Visionaries. And you should be able to find that if you look hard enough. Whoa. Sats and sunsets. Look at that. 1.1 million sats for $1,000 US. Wow. Scotty Boy got 100,000 freedom units for 13,547 yen. Okay. So hope you enjoyed the lesson today. Thanks again for all the support, all the love, and for coming back again here. I see a couple more zaps from Mateo and David T. And Josh got 16,000 freedom units for $20 of Carney's shit. Love that. And we kept it right on 2 hours today. So thanks, everybody. Have yourselves a great day, great week. And we'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.